Imagine being kidnapped, and instead of calling it a crime, everyone around you calls it a wedding. In parts of Kyrgyzstan, this isn't a rumor. It's a practice called Ala Kachuu. Grab and run. A man can pull a woman off the street, bring her to his home, and within hours, she can be pressured into becoming his wife. But here's what almost no one outside these communities understands. The kidnapping isn't the main event. The real process begins in a room filled with women, mothers, aunts, grandmothers, not there to help her escape, but to make sure she stays. Tonight, you're going inside that system, how kidnappings are planned weeks ahead, how a single white shawl can seal a marriage in minutes, why her own family may pressure her to accept, and what happens if she refuses. This isn't history. It's happening right now. And to understand how a kidnapping becomes a marriage in less than a day, you need to see how the system is built to make her say yes. This doesn't start with the kidnapping. It starts long before. In parts of Kyrgyzstan, there's an unspoken rule. If a man decides he wants a woman, there are ways to make it happen. Once that decision is made, things move quietly. He starts asking questions: who she is, where she goes, when she's alone, mapping her routine. Not enough to raise suspicion, just enough to find the window, because timing is everything. Too early, witnesses. Too late, she's gone. So they wait. Then everything accelerates. The call goes out, not to authorities, to people who already understand. No questions, no hesitation, because this isn't new. What follows is fast, clean, practiced, because the longer it takes, the higher the chance she gets away. And here's what most people miss. The success of this moment isn't measured by whether she's taken. That part is easy. The real measure, whether she stays. Everything that follows has already been set in motion. It takes minutes. One moment she's walking, the next, she's gone, pulled into a car, doors shut. Before she can react, it's already moving. Fast, no explanation, just hands restraining her. Voices telling her to stop fighting while everything familiar disappears outside the window. Street by street, turn by turn, further from where she was last seen. Distance is deliberate. The further she is, the harder it is to leave. Inside that car, she's cut off. No calls, no messages. No one knows where she is until the groom's family decides they should. By then, everything has already begun. Because while she's in that car, people are waiting at the destination, preparing, not for a victim, for a bride. And the moment she crosses that doorway, the narrative shifts. She's no longer taken, she's brought. That language shift is deliberate, because once that story takes hold, walking away becomes harder, fighting back, nearly impossible. And this is still the easy part. What follows isn't force, it's pressure, relentless, calculated, psychological. The kind that doesn't leave bruises, but breaks decisions. Because what happens inside that house is what turns a kidnapping into a marriage. Then the door opens again, and it's not strangers. It's her family, her mother, her father, her relatives, the people she's been counting on to take her home. For one brief moment, there's relief, then it disappears. Because in many cases, they don't come to rescue her. They came to convince her to stay. This is where it turns psychological, because now the pressure comes from the people she trusts most. They tell her to think carefully, to be patient. What they mean is, don't come back, because returning brings consequences, stigma, whispers, shame. And those whispers don't stop with her. They reach her sisters, her cousins, her entire family. One daughter returned, and the marriage prospects of every woman in that family can collapse overnight. Suddenly, this isn't about her anymore. It's about everyone. So the pressure intensifies, not louder, heavier. Her mother sits beside her, telling her this is her future now. Her father avoids her eyes, and slowly, resistance fades, because now she's not fighting strangers. She's fighting her own family. This is the breaking point, not being dragged into the car, not the kidnapping. This moment, leaving stops feeling like an option. This is where the system does its real work. The average time from abduction to acceptance, less than 12 hours. In that window, she is pressured to agree. The clock isn't accidental. It's the system. It creates urgency, isolation, pressure, turning fear into compliance, resistance into silence, a victim into a bride. And when she finally stops saying no, there's only one step left, one moment, irreversible. After that, there's no going back. Sometimes the pressure isn't just psychological. Sometimes it crosses a line that changes everything. What began as coercion becomes violence, not always visible, not always reported, but understood. Because what happens behind closed doors in this system isn't spoken about. It's carried silently for years. This is where the system exposes its darkest layer, not what's done in public, but what's done when no one is watching. No camera, no witness, no record, just a woman and a decision she was never allowed to make. Here's the truth about Ala Kachuu that almost no outsider ever sees. The law says this is illegal. It has been since 1994. But up to 40% of rural marriages in Kyrgyzstan reportedly begin this way. 40%. Not the past, now. The law exists. Enforcement doesn't. In communities where reputation outweighs rights, where a family's future can hinge on a daughter's silence, where the women in that room were once kidnapped themselves, the system doesn't need force to survive. It needs compliance. And it gets it. Every time. Her name was Burolai Turdali Kizi, 27 years old, kidnapped, taken, driven away, like hundreds before her. But she resisted, she fought back, and made it to a police station, safe, alive, in a place where her protection was supposed to be guaranteed. It wasn't. Inside that station, her abductor pulled out a knife and killed her, in custody. Feet away from officers, the world reacted. Outrage, headlines, pressure. Nothing changed. The practice remained. If something this extreme, this visible, this undeniable, still can't stop it, then the question becomes unavoidable. Why? The law calls it illegal. But the system is older than the law. In many places, this isn't seen as violence. It's seen as tradition. And challenging tradition means challenging identity, which makes it harder to stop. Because this isn't just behavior, it's belief. And belief is harder to break. Even those who disagree still live inside it, still face the consequences of resisting. That's what keeps it alive. Not just acceptance, expectation. Long before modern Kyrgyzstan, before borders, before laws, there were stories that defined what a real man was. In some of those traditions, capturing a bride was proof of power, of dominance, of strength. A man who couldn't take a wife was seen as incapable, not chosen, weak. That idea didn't disappear. It evolved, blended, reframed, but never fully erased. Then there's the other layer, economics. A formal marriage is expensive. Bride price, livestock, gifts, negotiation. A financial burden many families can't carry. Kidnapping costs almost nothing. Fuel, a car, a plan. When something is cheaper, faster, and socially tolerated, it spreads. Quietly at first, then openly, until what was once rare becomes normal. Tradition became practice. Practice became system. A system that sustains itself because it benefits those already inside it and leaves those trapped within it, with fewer and fewer ways out. Some women say no, even after the pressure, the isolation, the fear. They remove the shawl, stand up, walk out, and for a moment, it looks like freedom. It isn't that simple. Leaving marks them, damaged reputation, whispers that don't stop, questions that follow for years. It affects future marriage, family standing, social access, and sometimes, leaving invites something worse. Pressure to accept another attempt, another arrangement, threats, violence. So the women who truly escape don't just leave the house, they leave everything. Their village, their community, their support system, sometimes their country. Because staying means facing the same system again and again and again. Because that's exactly what this is, a system, one where a woman can be taken, removed from everything she knows, placed inside a process designed to break resistance, apply pressure, reshape reality, until yes feels like the only option left, all in less than a day. Consent doesn't vanish all at once. It blurs, then gets questioned, then gets ignored. And silence becomes survival. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Because this isn't built on one moment. Not just the kidnapping, not just the room, not just the family. Every step connected, every step designed to lead to one outcome. No matter how it begins, Ala Kachuu isn't disappearing. It isn't misunderstood. It isn't accidental. In Kyrgyzstan, it continues, not hidden, not rare, in plain sight, structured, sustained, repeated, right now. And if this is the first time you're hearing about it, that's part of the reason it still exists. If you want the stories no one talks about, the ones happening right now, subscribe, because the next one might be even harder to believe.